everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम लोग आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की क्लास करने वाले हैं जो कि क्लास नंबर 7 है। ऑलरेडी हम 6 क्लासेस कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं और जिसमें हमने यूनिट 1 कंप्लीट किया है and that is your introduction to introduction to artificial intelligence and हमने unit 2 complete किया है that is stands for your that is in the terms of we had completed and वो भी बहुत important topic है that is your introduction to search and the third unit we had started in the last classes that is your unit 3 that is your knowledge representation and reasoning where we had done about the acquisition the conversion that is the procedure from the formula of the normal form even though we had discussed the proving question as well and in the last topic that we had done is your that is first order logic in the artificial intelligence. So here we will be starting with the more than that only, and first of all it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Let's go ahead with the detail of that is knowledge representation and reasoning. In the same case we have to discuss, as we had discussed last class, that the first order logic in the artificial intelligence. So today we'll start with the inferences rule for the first order logic here. Inference rule for first order logic. As we had discussed about the first order logic in the last class, I will just make you revise in a very short period that I will just tell you the main things that we had done in the last class. So in the terms of it, that the first order logic is also known as a predicate logic or a first order predicate logic as well, where the first order logic is a powerful language that develops the information about the object in a more easy way and can also express a relationship between those objects as well, while in the same case that here that the first order logic is sufficiently expressive in representing the natural language statement in a concise way, and where the first order logic like a natural language does not only assume that would be contain fact like propositional logic but also assumes object relations and functions as well. In the same case we can say that as a natural language the first order logic also has two main parts, that is your semantics and syntax here. So here we'll go ahead to discuss about the inferences rule for the first order logic here, and the first rule that we have is your that is universal generalization. Universal generalization. In the universal generalization here, that the universal generalization is valid inferences rule which states that it premises that of P of C is true for any arbitrary element that is of C is the universe discussed, and then we can conclude as that is in the form P of X, and it can be represented as well that is of P of C, that is multiply P of X as well here. And in the same case this rule can be used if we want to show that every element has a similar property. Let's go ahead to discuss about the second one, and that what we have here is your universal installation. Universal instantiation. So in the universal instantiation here, in the same case for this that is that the universal instantiation is also called as universal elimination or UI, is a valid inferences rule and it can applied multiple times to add new sentences here in the universal installation or universal elimination, where in the same case that as per UI we can infer any sentences that is obtained by substituting a ground term for the variable, and the UI rule states that when we can infer any sentences that is of P of C by substituting a ground term C where a constant within a domain X for that is your that has been represented in the form of p of x for any object in the universe of the discourse, and that can be represented as p of x, and that is of p of c. And now we'll go ahead with the third one, and that what we have here is your that is your existential installation. Instantations here, and that is to represent this, that the existential instantations is your, is called also the existential elimination, and which is valid inferences rule in the first order logic, where it can applied only once, that to replace existential sentences. And this rule states that one can infer of p of c for the formula that is given in the form of where we had written about it, and for the new constant symbol that is represented by e. The restriction with the this rule is that the c used in the rule that must be new term for each of p of c is true here, and for that sake we can say that that has been represented here. Now we'll go ahead with the another one and the last one, that is your existential introduction. Existential introduction here is as an existential introduction is also known as the existential generalization, which is valid inferences rule in the first order logic. And this rule states that if if there is a same element or some element of c, that the universe of the discourse which has a property of p, then we can infer that there exists something in the universe which has the property of p, and that can be even though represented as in the form of. And now we'll go ahead to discuss the translate the following sentences in the formula which predicate logic and a clausial form. We have to represent it, and the sentences we have here, that is the John likes all kinds of food, apples are good, apples are food, chicken is a food, anything anyone eats and is not killed by is food, and that is the Bill eats peanuts and is still alive here. So that we will go ahead, and with the same case we have to use the predicate logic and as well as the class form. So let's go ahead. Even though this has been asked for, that is the Sue eats everything Bill eats. So here these were the form of the sentences, and you have to convert into the formulas in the form of predicate logic and clause form. So we'll go ahead here. In the predicate logic, the first is here, that is John likes all kinds of food. So here food, X likes John and X. Okay, now the second is your the apples are food. So for that, apples are food, what will go ahead, this is the first sentences for first sentence, this is for second sentences, that is your apples are food, so food and in bracket that is in apples. This is in the form of predicate logic. Okay, so this third one for the sentence is chicken is food, so same for that only, the food, and here it is chicken. That is for the third sentence. The fourth is that anything anyone eats and is not killed by is food. So that is the fourth one. X y eats X comma y killed y tends to food X. Okay, so fifth one we have is the fifth sentence. This is that Bill eats peanuts and is still alive. So here eats peanuts, Bill, alive, Bill. Okay, the next is your fifth one, that is your sixth one, and the sentence we have here that your Sue eats everything Bill eats. So for that, let us eats X Bill that eats X Sue. Okay, this is for that, and this is a predicate logic which we had done. Now we'll go ahead with the clause form as well. So for the clause form, for the first sentences we have, just do a margin here. For the clauses, the first we have here, that is the sentences John likes all kinds of food. So here, food, X likes John, comma, X. Is for the second sentences. The second sentence is apples are food. So food, apples. Then chicken is food. So third, food, bracket में chicken. Then the next sentence is anything anyone eats and is not killed by is food. That all has been asked of, that is of 10 marks for the predicate logic and a clause form as well. So that is eats X comma Y, killed Y, food, X. For the next sentences we have Sue eats everything Bill eats. For that, the eats peanuts, Bill, and the second condition is that is alive Bill, and the sixth we have is your that is eats, that is your Sue eats everything Bill eats. So here eats X comma Bills, that is eats X comma Sue. This is all what we have to represent as in the form of predicate logic, and of course in the form of the clause logic as well. Now we'll go ahead with another question, and that has been asked that in the same case that they had asked you, that translate the following sentences in the formula in predicate logic and a clause form, where the first is the sentences we have is mutton is food, the second is anything one eats and it does not kill is food, that is repeated in the next question. The third is the Rajiv eats everything that Sue eats, वो बिल के जगह पे यहाँ राजीव आ गए. Kin eats peanuts and is still alive, वहाँ बिल के जगह पे यहाँ पे किन आ गए. And John will marry Mary, and if Mary loves John, so that we have to conclude it. So let's go ahead. So we have to convert into the predicate logic. So the first sentences we have is mutton is food. So mutton is food is, that is food, and that is mutton. The second is your that is anything one eats and it does not kill as a food. So for that we have comma Y, that is your not killed, Y, that is food, X. And for the logic one we will also discuss here. So the clausal forms, that is the clause form we discussed here. Okay, so in the same case for the third one we have the third sentence is Rajiv eats everything that Sue eats. So for that we have eats Sue, Cox, that eats Rajiv, comma X. And the fourth is your that is Kin eats peanuts and is still alive, eats peanuts, comma Kin, alive, that is Kin. And the fifth one we have is your that is John will marry Mary, and if Mary loves John, for that Mary X comma Y, that loves Y comma X. Now for the clausal forms here, that the first we have the mutton is a food. So for that, food and mutton in bracket. For the second we have is your anything one eats is does not kill as a food. So for that, eats x comma y killed y, that is food. Then the third one we have here is your that Rajiv eats everything that you eats, and for that it will have eats x comma su eats x comma Rajiv. The fourth we have here the sentence is that Kin eats peanuts and is still alive. So for that the first part is eats peanuts Kin. The B part, second part we have is alive Kin. The fifth we have here that is the John will marry Mary and if Mary loves John. So for that we have Mary John Mary, that gives loves Mary John. Okay, these were the clausal forms. Let's go ahead with the detail, and the next we have to discuss is your what do you mean by the representing instance and ISA that we have. In the same case for the instance and ISA that has been asked of 10 marks in 16 and 17, so that is very important. And we have your what do you mean by representing instance and ISA relationship. Where in this case that what do you mean by the representing instance and ISA relationship. Instance and ISA plays an important role in a useful form of reasoning property inheritance. Okay, in that same case with the regard of it that the first part of this that contains the class membership with a unitary predicate such as your Roman, and that is each of which correspond to a class that is asserting that p of x is true is equivalent to asserting the x in the instance or the element of p. So what we have here is that is has been represented here. And in the same case for the another one, that the second part of this that contains the representing that the use of the instance that is present explicitly. So we'll go ahead with the first one, that what I am talking about. Man Marcus, second is Pompeian Marcus, third we have Pompeian X equals to Roman X, fourth is ruler Caesar, and the fifth we have fifth, I will write it down here. Fifth is your of X, that is Roman X, that gives Loyalto X Caesar, we hate X Caesar. That is the first representation where that contain the class membership with a unitary predicate such as Roman, and each of which that correspond to the class asserting p of x and is true equivalent in asserting that x is an instance of element p. Okay, for the second one we will go ahead for the instance here. The second we have here is your that is instance Marcus man, that is your instance, that is Marcus Pompeian. The third is that is we x, that is instance x comma Pompeian, that give instance X comma Roman. The fourth is instance, that is Caesar and ruler. So we have here in this the same case, that is with that instance that we have with the Caesar and the ruler here. That we have the another one, that is your fifth one, that what we have to discuss as well, that is in the terms of it, which we have here is your instance X comma Roman, where that is X comma Roman, and it will gives you Rialto, that is X comma Caesar, H X comma Caesar as well. This is the second part, that is contain the representation of the use of the instance predicate explicitly, where that the predicate instance is a binary one and whose first argument is an object and whose second argument is the class to which the object belongs, and with that, but these representations do not, that do not use an explicit ISA predicate as well. So we'll go ahead with the third one, that we have instance Marcus Mann, instance Marcus Pompeian. The third we have is your ISA Pompeian Roman. The fourth is instance Caesar ruler, and the fifth we have instance X comma Roman, that gives Loyalto X comma Caesar, H X comma Caesar. This is the three ways of presenting the class memberships here. Let's go ahead with another one, and that what we have your questions here, that is consider the arguments all dogs bark, some animals are dogs, and therefore some animals bark. Determine whether the conclusion is valid consequences of the premises or not. So that what we have to represent. Let's go ahead with the question here, that is consider the argument that is all dogs bark, some animals are dogs, therefore some animals bark. Determine whether the conclusion is a valid consequences of the premises. So where we have to solve it, and we'll have to find out the solution as well. So in that same case here, that we have dogs X that bark, animals X dogs, so from these two we could conclude that animals X, that is bark. So hence the conclusion is valid sequence of premises. Let's go ahead with another one, that the question we have is determine whether the following argument is valid. If I work whole night on this problem, then I can solve it. If I solve the problem, then I will understand the topic, and therefore I will work whole night on this problem, and then I will be understand the topic. So this is the criteria that they had told you about it, and for that we will go ahead to solve it. That is determine whether the following argument is valid or not. So the argument we have is, if I work whole night on this problem, then I can solve it. If I solve the problem, then I will understand the topic. Therefore, I will work whole night on this problem. Then I will understand the topic. So here we use the following symbols for the each sentences, like if I work whole night on this problem, that is represented by A, and I can solve it, that is B, and I will understand the topic, that is C. For that translation of for each of the line, the argument will be the solution A, B union B, and that is C. If I work whole night on this problem, then I can solve it, and if I solve the problem, then I understand the topic. Where in the same case that A, see here that I will work whole night on this problem, then I will understand the topic, and the sentence correspond to the argument we have, that is in the reference towards A, B union C, that is section A, that is C here. That this to see if the synthesis is valid, we try to find out the interpretation that falsely, that is A, C here, while satisfying these conditions, that is falsify on this, and that require A true and C true. So to satisfy these, when A true and B true, that requires C true. So and C is true, thus the argument is valid here. Let's go ahead with another one, and that what we have to discuss as well. In the same case, talking about, let's the convert the formula into DNF, that we have to convert it. The question is, convert formula A, B, C tends to D into DNF. In this same case, we have to convert it into DNF, and that for that sake we have here, and for this we have to use eliminate amplification, and here that becomes in that same here, that is tends to D. D as well. AB minus B, B, that is C, B and D. This is the solution for this by using the eliminate and amplification here. Let's go ahead with another one that we have to discuss, and we have to convert into CNF. This is we have converted into DNF, Now we will convert into a CNF here, and that then after that we will discuss more things to be forward discussing, as we had discussed in the last class about the forward and a backward chaining. So that will go ahead here, and that is in the forward chaining I will just make you revise because this has been asked of many times in the examination paper. So forward chaining is a method of reasoning when using inferences in an artificial intelligence, and where forward chaining starts with the available data and use inferences rule to extract more data from an end user until an optimal goal is reached. And with the same case, that inferences engine using the forward chaining searches the inferences rule until it finds one, and where the if clauses is known to be true, and when found it can conclude or infer then a clause resulting in the additions of the new information to its data set, where the inferences engine will often cycle through this process until an optimal goal is reached as well. For example, suppose that the goal to be include that the color of my pet Bruno give that he croaks and eats flies, and for that rule that based on the following two rules, that is if X croaks and eats flies, then X is a frog, and if X is a frog, then X is red here. With the backward chaining, if I'm talking about, so here in the backward chaining starts with the list of goals or the hypothesis and works backward to see if there is a data available that will support any of these goals. Any inferences engine that use the backward chaining that would search the inferences rule until it finds one which has then clause that matches the desired goal as well. If the if clause of the inferences rule is not known to be true, then it will be added to the list of goals. And for example, suppose that the goal is to be conclude the color of my pet Bruno, that give that he croaks and eats flies, and that the rule base contains the following two rules, that is if X croaks and eats flies, then X is a frog, and if X is a frog, then X is a red here. We are in the same case write down the properties of forward chaining and a backward chaining that we had discussed about it, the properties related to that, the properties of the forward chaining and a backward chaining. In the forward chaining, that it is a down up approach as it moves from the bottom to up, and it is a process of making a conclusion based on known fact or a data that by starting from the initial state and reaches to the goal state as well. Where forward chaining approach is also called as the data driven, as we reach to the goal using the available data. Forward chaining approach is commonly used in the export systems such as business and production rule system as well. With the same case, if I'm talking about more detail in it, that is in the same reference towards it, that is related to the properties of the backward chaining, where it is known as the top-down approach, and backward chaining is based on the modus ponens inferences rule, and the backward chaining that the goal is broken into the sub-goal or a sub-goal to the prove that the fact true, and it can be a goal-driven approach as a list of the goal that decide when and they are selected and they are used or not. And the backward chaining algorithm is used in the game theory automated theorem, that is proving the tools inferences engines proof assistance and the various AI application as well. With the same case that the backward theory method mostly used in the depth first search strategies that for the proof as well. And where that is in the same case, we can say that as we had discussed about the forward chaining and backward chaining, so here in that they had asked you about differentiate between the forward chaining and backward chaining of inferences with the help of example, even though that we had discussed in the last classes as well, but I will just let you go through with that once. That is your forward chaining and a backward chaining. For the forward chaining, that is forward chaining is a data driven method, and a backward chaining is a goal driven method. In forward chaining, it uses a planning, monitoring and controlling method. In a backward chaining, it uses a diagnosis method. Forward chaining, it uses a bottom up processing. Backward chaining, it uses a top down processing. Forward chaining, that forward chaining finds a possible conclusion supported by the given fact, and the backward chaining, that the backward chaining finds the fact that supported a given hypothesis. Wherein the forward chaining, that forward chaining is similar to the breadth first search, and a backward chaining is similar to the depth first search. And for the forward chaining, the example is clips, and for the backward chaining, the example is prologue. Let's go ahead to solve a question and the related towards it, where we have to convert into the CNF here. The question we have here is, convert, that is tends to be, tends to C, into CNF, that we have to convert it. And for that, the solution we have, that is, it becomes to be C, that is your then that is B, that is C, which is C. So here hence we can say that is a CNF of this particular question which we have. Let's go ahead to discuss in the more detail, that is your the write a short note on a resolution. That has been asked many times of 10 marks. So write a short note on resolution, or what is resolution, discuss the role resolution in the predicate logic, that we have to discuss, and that role as well. And for the resolution is a proof procedure that carries out a single operation in the variety of the processes that is involved in the reasoning with the statement in predicate logic. And the resolution operates on the statement that have or not been converted into very convenient form. Resolution procedure is proved by the repetition, in another words, to prove a statement resolution here, and that attempts to show that the negations of the statement produces a contradiction with a known fact, that is, it is unsatisfiable here. Now talking about the rule of resolution in a that is your predicate logic, there were the two rules, that the resolution is an inferences step that is required to build the complete inferences system for the predicate logic in a class form. And for the second rule we have here, that is applying the rule for the resolution in the class form, that makes the resolution inferences and highly suitable for the computer implementation as well. Let's go ahead to discuss the resolution in the propositional and a predicate logic. Resolution to the propositional and predicate logic here, that is that in the resolutions of the propositional logic here, that the procedures for proceeding the proof of the resolution of the propositional, that is S, will be respect to the set of the axioms F is as follows. And with the same case, that convert all the properties of the S class form, and negotiate as they convert the result to the class form and add it to the set of the classes that is obtained in the step 1, and then repeat either a contradiction is founded and no progress that can be made. So for that we have to select two clauses, call them parent clause, and then resolve them together, and resulting class called the resolvent will be the disjunctions of all the literals of both the parent classes, with the following exceptions: if there are any pairs of literals like L and not L, such that of the parent class that L and other that is L, then select one such pair of the eliminate this for the resolvent as well. If the resolvent of the empty classes, then contradiction has been found, and if it is not, then added it to the set of the class that is available to the procedure here. In the same case, that the resolution to the predicate logic, that what we have to discuss here, that is the first is to convert all the statement of F to the class form, and for that to negotiate as to convert the result to class forms and add it to the set of the classes that is obtained in the step 1, and repeat until either the contradiction is found in the progress, and that can be made in a predetermined amount of the effort that can be expended. For that we have first one, that is to select the two clauses that call these parent clauses, and for that to resolve them together. The result will be the distinctions of all the literals of both the parents clauses with the appropriate substitution that is performed with the following exception: if there is one pair of the literals, that is like T1 and then T2, so such that for such parent classes that contain T1 and of course the T2, and if T1 and T2 are the unfiable, then neither T1 nor T2 should appear in the resolvent. And if the resolvent is an empty clause, then the contradiction has been found, and if it is not, then add it to the set of the clauses that is available to the procedure as well. Let's go ahead to discuss about reasoning and the types of reasoning. So here we'll go ahead with the reasoning here. That is what is reasoning and its type, as I told you about it. Reasoning and types of reasoning. So in the reasoning, what we have to discuss here, that is the reasoning is the mental process of looking for reason for beliefs, conclusion, actions or feeling. And reasoning means infer facts from existing data. Where the types of reasoning we have, that is we have three types of reasoning here, and that is the first we have here is that is deductive reasoning. In the deductive reasoning here, that is comes under deductive arguments are intended to have a reasoning that is valid, and reasoning is an argument that is valid if the argument's conclusion must be true when the premises, the reason given to the support that conclusions are true. The second we have is your inductive reasoning. In the inductive reasoning here, the inductive reasoning contrasts strongly with the deductive reasoning. Even in the best or strong case or inductive reasoning, the truth of the premises does not guarantee the truth of the conclusion, where instead the conclusion of the inductive arguments follow with some degree of probability, where the conclusions of an inductive argument contains more information than is already contained in the premises. Thus, this method of reasoning is ampliative. And the third we have is that is the third reason is abductive reasoning. In abductive reasoning, the abductive reasoning or the argument to the best explanation often involves both inductive and deductive arguments as well. Let's go ahead with the another one, that is write a short note on a probabilistic reasoning here. So we'll discuss about the probabilistic reasoning. In the probabilistic reasoning, has been asked the two types, that is your what are the short notes of the probabilistic reasoning and what is the probabilistic reasoning, also describe the role HHM in probabilistic reasoning. So for that, probabilistic reasoning is a method of representation of knowledge where the concept of probability is applied to indicate the uncertainty in the knowledge. And with the same case, the probabilistic reasoning is used in AI, where that is when we are unsure of the predicate, when the possibilities of the predicate becomes too large to list down, and when it is known that an error occurs during an experiment here. So rules of that is your rules of HHM in probabilistic reasoning. Here with that the probabilistic reasoning with a Bayesian network is used to calculate the conditional probability of the variable given the values of the set of the other variable, that is the evidence as well. If there is no evidence, it is the marginal probabilities that need to be computed, and these networks are very useful for modeling joint distribution, but they have their limitation, that is they cannot account for the temporal and sequence model, where HHM model a set observation with the set of an hidden state, that is a hidden state generates the observation as well. Thus, the HHM helps us determining the probabilistic nature of the observation by using the unobservable and that is your hidden state here. For example, the robot movement, that is observation, is the range sensor, visual sensor as well, and the hidden state, that is location on a map. With the same regard of it, if I'm talking about with the detail of this, then we'll discuss about utility theory. In the utility theory, what is utility theory, that they had asked you about, that describe utility theory. So utility theory here, that is in the same case, the utility theory is a discipline that lays the foundation to create and evaluate the utility function. A utility theory uses the notions and expected utility, that is EU, as a value that represent the average utility of all possible outcomes of the state, that is weighted by the probability that the outcome occurs. And the key concept of the utility theory is known as the principle of maximum expected utility, that is MEU, which is, states that any rational agent that has been chosen with the same to choose to maximize the agent's AU. The utility theory is often combined with the probabilistic theory to create what we know as decision theoretical agent as well. Utility functions are the product of utility theory, which is one of the disciplines that helps to address the challenges of building knowledge under the uncertainty, where we'll talk about explain the unification algorithm used in the reasoning under the predicate logic with an example. So the unification algorithm here, in order to do a resolution, this has been asked of 10 marks, and that is in order to do resolution for the expressions in the predicate logic, we use unification algorithm to locate the pairs of the literals that cannot that cancel it out, and we need to use the unifiers produced by the unification algorithm to generate the resolvent class. For example, we want to resolve following two clauses like man markers, man does not markers of the model X here. The literals man markers that can be unified with the literal man X, and the substitution markers that X telling us that X equals to markers, and markers is a fall here. So now we cannot simplify cancel out the two man literals in this case of the propositional logic, and to generate the logic we know conclude only that mortal markers must be true, which we get by applying the result of the uniform process to the resolvent as well. With the same case, the resolution process that can then proceed to discover whether the mortal markers led to the contradiction with other available clauses as well. Unification algorithm here, that is verify u comma v. If u and v are the both variable or the constant, then if u and v are identical, then return null. Then again, if u is a variable, then if u occurs in v, then returns fail, else it returns u slash v. And if v is a variable, then if v occurs, then u would return fail, else that is your u slash v, and return fail as well. If the initial predicate symbol in U and V are not identical, return fail, and if U and V have a different numbers of argument, then return fail. And set subset to null, that is for that is your L tends to I to the number of the arguments of the U, that to call unify with the ith arguments of the U and the ith arguments of V, putting the result in S, and if S contain if all fail, then return fail, and if S is not equals to the null, then apply step 5 to be the remember of the both U and V, and set subset equals to the appends, and that is S comma subset, where return a subset here. Let's go ahead with the detail of HHM, that is a hidden Markov model. Hidden Markov model, which stands for HMM, and that has been asked define hidden Markov model or define hidden Markov model, illustrate how HHMs are used for speech recognition of 10 marks, and explain the use of the hidden Markov model in speech recognition, that has been also asked of 5 marks here. So let's go ahead with the detail. Hidden Markov model, that is a statistical Markov model in which the systems being modeled is assumed to be Markov process with the unobserved, that is hidden, and state here. The use of the hidden Markov model in a speech recognition is that the hidden model that is hidden Markov model is a statistical model that uses to a finite number of states, and this is associated state with the transition to jointly model and the temporal and spatial variations of signal, and it has been used extensively to the model fundamental speech units in a speech recognition, because the HHM can adequately characterize both the temporal and the spectral varying nature of the speech signal. The use of the hidden Markov model to model speech units. The other key contribution of the speech research is the use of the data structure for the optimality that decoding speech into the text as well. Let's go ahead with the another one that we have to discuss is to distinguish between Markov model and hidden Markov model. Distinguish between HHM, that is the hidden Markov models, and Markov models. So a hidden Markov model and Markov model, the difference between both we have to discuss here one by one. For the Markov model, that is the Markov model, the mathematical tool is the theory about the particular family of a function and its various properties, where the hidden Markov model here, that are the special way of using the Markov model, it is the application here. In the Markov model that defines how to compute the function, it is not a machine learning, where hidden Markov model that defines about how to learn the weight in the Markov matrix as well. In the Markov model, the Markov model is a state machine with the state changes being probabilities, and in hidden Markov model that you do not know the probabilistic, but you know the outcome here. For the fourth difference is that for the Markov model here, that states are observed directly in the Markov model, and hidden Markov model here, that there are the hidden states in the HHM model here. With this, the examples of Markov model here is your language modeling, and for the hidden Markov model, the example is speech recognition that has been used here. Let's go ahead with this, and another question they had asked you about: draw a diagram of HHM and show that what is a hidden part of it that it will refer to, and that is of 10 marks here. So in hidden modern Markov model is a statistical Markov model in which the system being model is assumed to be a Markov process with unobserved hidden states. The term hidden refers to the first order Markov process behind the observation, and the observation refers to the data we know and can absorb. Markov process is shown by the interaction between the rainy and a sunny, that we will represent here each of these hidden states as well. And with the same case, the observation are known the data, and that is referred to will be going to workshop and clean here. So let's go ahead with this figure. Here the figure we have. that each one is connected to one another, where this is connected to this, this is connected to this, and this is connected to it, and this is also same for that. Let's go ahead to name it. That is the start. This is rainy, this is sunny, walk, shop, clean. So when it starts coming to the rainy here, that is your 0.6, starts to sunny, that is 0.4, this is 0.7, this is 0.6, this is 0.3, 0.4, this is 0.1, 0.6, 0.5, and for this it is your, that is 0.4, then 0.3, 0.1 here. So these work comes under it. This is that is a diagram that the hidden part of it that we refer to it, that has been represented here. Let's go ahead with another one, and that what we have to discuss here about it, that in a machine learning sense observation, in our training data that has the number of hidden states in the hyperparameter for our model, and for that sake that t is equals to length of the observation sequence, n equals to number of the states in the model, m is equals to numbers of observation symbols, q equals to like q0, q1, q2, qn minus 1 till distinct states of the Markov process, where v equals to 0, 1 till m minus 1, that is the set of the possible observation, a equals to states transition probabilities, b equals to observation probabilities matrix, pi equals to initial state distribution, and o equals to that o0, o1, o2, or minus 1 here till the observation sequence, that what we have here. In the same case where p do not have any observation yet, and where n equals to 2, m equals to 3, q equals to rainy, sunny, and v equals to workshop, and that is clean here. The state transition position, that are arrows that is pointing to each hidden state, that observation probability matrix are the dotted arrows pointing to each observation from each hidden Markov here, and the matrix are that is your row stochastic, meaning that the rows add up to 1, and that is of a of ij is equals to p, that is the state where qj at t plus 1, and the state qi is at t, and b that is bj of k, that is equals to p, where the observation k at t and the state qj at t as well. The matrix explain what the probability is from going to one state to the another, or going from one state to the observation. The initial state distribution gets modeled going by the starting at the hidden state, and full model with a known state transition probabilities, observation probabilities matrix, and the initial state distribution is marked as, where that has been represented by comma b comma pi. Now we'll go ahead with the discussion, that write a short note on the Bayesian network and explain the Bayesian network by taking an example how it is Bayesian network powerful representation for the uncertainty knowledge. That has also been asked of 10 marks. So let's go ahead. That is Bayesian network. In the term of Bayesian network here, that what we have to discuss in the Bayesian network. A Bayesian network is a directed acyclic graph is in which that each node is that is annotated with the quantitative probability information, where the full specification is asked to be follows like a set of a random variable that make up to the nodes at the network variables, and may be discrete or continuous. A set of the direct links or the arrows that connect the pairs of node. If there is an arrow from x to node y, and then x is said to be the parent of y here, where each node x of I has a conditional probability distribution, that is p of x of I, that is your parent of x of I, that concretize the effect of the parents on the node, where the graph has no directed cycles, and hence the directed acyclic graph or DAG as well. And where a Bayesian network that provides a complete description of the domain, every entry in the full joint probability distribution that can be calculated from the information in the network, and the Bayesian network that provides a concise way to represent the conditional independence relationship in the domain. And a Bayesian network is often exponentially smaller than that full joint distribution as well. For example, suppose we want to determine the possibilities of the grass getting wet or dry due to the occurrence of different season. The weather has three states like sunny, cloudy, and rainy. There are the two possibilities for the grass, that is wet or dry. The sprinklers that can be on or off, and it is if it is rainy, the grass get wet. But if it is sunny, then we can make the grass wet by pouring water from the sprinklers. So suppose that the grass is wet, and this could be contributed by one of the two reasons. Firstly, it is raining. Secondly, the sprinkles are turned on. And using the Bayes rule, we can deduce the most contributing the factor towards the wet grasses. And for here, that we have the first we have is your, that is your condition. About the condition is that is either that is sprinkler, rain, and these if it is rain, then wet grass. Wet grass है तो either by sprinkling or either by rain, and the conditions that either by sprinkling or either by rain that has been done, where the Bayesian network processes the following methods in the uncertainty knowledge representation, where the first one we have is your, that is your Bayesian network that can conveniently handle the incomplete data. Bayesian network that can learn the causal relation of the variable, and that is in the data analysis, the causal relation is helpful for the field knowledge understanding, and it can also easily lead to a precise prediction even under much interferences. The combination of the Bayesian network and the Bayesian statistics that can take full advantages of a field knowledge and information from the data. The combination of the Bayesian network and the other model that can effectively avoid fitting problem as well. In the same case, now what is the Bayesian theory has also been asked, and explain the role of the prior probability and the posterior probability in the Bayesian classification, that what we have to discuss here. So role of the prior probability is that the prior probability is used to compute the probability of the event even in the collections of the new data, and it is used to capture our assumptions, domain knowledge, and independent of the data as well. With the same case, it is unconditional probability that is assigned before any relevant evidence is taken into account. The rule of the posterior probability is that the posterior probability is used to compute the probability of an event after the collection of data. It is used to capture both the assumptions, even though the domain knowledge and the pattern is observed data as well. It is the conditional probability that is assigned after the relevant evidence or a background is to taken into the account as well. With the detail, we'll go ahead that explain the methods of handling the appropriate inferences in the Bayesian here. So here there we have two methods. Methods of handling appropriate inference in Bayesian network. So what they are the two methods, and the first we have is that for approximate inferences method that can be used when exact inferences method leads to an unacceptable computation time because the network is very large or are densely connected. So methods handling appropriate inferences, the first we have here is your simulations method. In that the simulation method, this method uses the network to generate the samples from the conditional probability distribution, where purify v abstract that is by t, and that estimate the condition probabilities of the interest when the number of the samples is sufficiently large. The second we have here is that is your variation that is a variational method. In the variational method, the method expresses the inferences task as the numerical optimization problem, and then find the upper and the lower bound as of the probabilities of interest by solving the simplified version of this optimization problem as well. Now we'll discuss about what are planning graphs and what explain the methods of planning and acting in the real world. planning graph. In the planning graph, or the planning graph is a data structure that encodes the information that contained in the states regarding their reachability, and the basic idea is to construct a smaller size graph that would contain the partial information about the reachability. A planning graph is a layered graph comprising the states and the action that forms a layer and appear alternatively, so it can be represented as follows. The state 1 is action 1, state 2 action 2, state n and action n till here. For each operator that belongs to the action, and there is an h for the literals in the state x, and the literals is the precondition for the operator over here. Let's go ahead with the methods of planning and acting in the real world. So hierarchical task network, that is your HTN planning, allows the agent to take an advice from the domain designer in the context of the decomposition rule, where this is feasible to take very large plans required for many real world application as well. With the same case, the conditional plan that allows the agent to sense the words during the execution to decide what branch to the plan to follow, and incorrect information results in the unsatisfied preconditions for the actions and plans, and the execution monitoring detects the violations of the precondition for successful completion of the plan as well. With the same regard, a continuous planning agent creates a new goals, and that goals as it goes on reacts in real time, and the multi-agent planning is necessary when there are other agents in the environment with which to cooperate, the compute and coordinate as well. In the same regard of it, there are many important questions that to translate the following sentences in the formulate, that as we had discussed about it, that we have to convert into the predicate, logical and clausal form as well. That is, John likes all kind of food, apples are food, chicken is food, and with this, that anything that anyone eats and is not killed by the food, that is, Bill eats peanuts and is still alive, and C eats everything Bill eats here. So that is we had done, even though that has been important as well. And the second is your what is probabilistic reasoning, and also describe the role HHM in probabilistic reasoning we had discussed here. And that is another one is you distinguish between the Markov model and a hidden Markov model, which we had done, which is also an important one. And other than that, we had done your that is your define hidden Markov model, illustrate how HHMs are used for the speech recognition, we had done, that is also important. What are the desirable properties of a good knowledge representation scheme, that we had done, which is also important. Explain the Bayesian network by taking an example, how is the Bayesian network powerful representation of the uncertainty knowledge, that we had done. And prove that the following sentences is valid, like if the price falls then a sell increases, and if the sell increases then John makes the whole money, but the John does not make the whole money, therefore the price does not fall. That even though we had discussed in this class. So first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. In the artificial intelligence, we had done the first unit, that is your introduction, which is introduction to artificial intelligence, foundation and history of artificial intelligence, application of artificial intelligence, intelligent agent, structure of intelligent agent, and then computer vision, natural language processing as well. In unit 2, that is introduction to search, searching for the solution, uninformed search strategies, informed search strategies, local search algorithm and optimistic problem, adversarial search, and search for the games, and alpha beta pruning as well. In unit 3, we had discussed about that is knowledge representation and reasoning, that is knowledge representation and reasoning, that is the propositional logic, theory of the first order logic, inferences in the first order logic, forward and backward chaining, resolution, probabilistic reasoning, utility theory, HHM, that is a hidden Markov model, Bayesian network, that we had done here. Then we will start in the next coming class, that is your unit 4. We will start with that, and as we had done with machine learning, we have to do then machine learning, supervised and unsupervised learning, decision tree, statistical learning models, learning with the complete data, naive space models, learning with the hidden data, EM algorithm, reinforcement learning, that we have to discuss here. The pattern, this is the next unit is your unit 5, that is the pattern recognition. We have the pattern recognition introduction, design principles of pattern recognition systems, statistical pattern recognition, parameter estimation method, principal component analysis and linear discrimination analysis, classification technique, as well as the nearest neighbor rule, Bayesian classifier, support vector machine, K-means clustering, that we had done. We have to done in the next coming class. So we had done unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. In today's class we had completed this. We'll start with unit 4 and unit 5 here. So first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. And thanks to all those subscribers, those who had subscribed our channel, thanks for supporting us. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on the comment box. Thank you.